This video is sponsored by Single Point Solution. Single Point is pioneer in production and distribution of electric vehicles like electric bikes, electric scooters and three-wheelers. Single Point also provide consulting services to small F players.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from apolitical Technologies and welcome to Wednesday edition of Top Brass. And before I start our discussion today, let me invite my friend from UK, from London, Mr. Neville Gunn.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Pretty dull and dingy day here today. And we've got the media hype around us. And we're back into COVID lockdown, unfortunately. Northern Ireland has a national lockdown. Southern Ireland has a national lockdown. Wales has a national lockdown. England has gone to regional lockdowns. It's come back as everyone expected. This is a socially transmitted disease, people to people, and unfortunately it's here as the winter hits us. But what's going on with COVID in India? As you're coming up to all the festivities, massive crowds, massive gatherings of people, what's your Prime Minister been saying recently?
Well, Neville, there was a address to the nation by the Prime Minister yesterday, last evening. And although there is no lockdown, but India has shown a lot of progress in terms of controlling the COVID, even though with such large population, it's a very humongous task. The fatality rate in India is 83 per million, which is quite low. We have completed 10 million tests so far. I think the count is only growing. More tests means we have better control on COVID. Survival rate is more than 75% in India. So for the first time in such a large, big country with so much population, the curves are bending after a long time. And the Prime Minister said yesterday that, hey, even though lockdown is slightly eased, it's almost going away, almost like 50 to 60% is going away in a phased manner. But he appealed to the citizens that we should not think that the virus has gone away. So lockdown may have gone away, but virus is still there. India is getting into festival seasons. There will be a lot of festivals. As you know, Neville, there are multi-racial, multicultural existence in India. So there are Christians, Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs and all other different types of religion that exist in India. All of these religions are getting into festivities. In fact, right now, a major festival is unfolding for Hindus, which will go for next 20 days. And all of these festivals means people going to market, buying sweets, buying new clothes, going out for movies. It's like festivity, every day is a festival. After the Hindu festivals are over, the Christianity will get in, the Christmas wave will hit the market, and same thing will repeat it once again. So the Prime Minister simply said that, hey guys, virus is here. It is not gone away. While we celebrate festivals, make sure we follow the guidelines, which is social distancing, wash your hands frequently with soap, and make sure that wear a mask. So very simple advice to citizens of India to ensure that we don't lift our guard. And he also mentioned, gave examples of countries like UK, US, where the guard was lifted and now they're getting into second lockdown. So he said that we should not be committing that mistake. We have had a better control and we should continue that. While the government lockdowns are lifted in a phased manner, but people should show maturity and don't think the virus has gone away. So very simple message, non-political from anywhere. He spoke like a great leader, and he thinks that entire citizen, all the citizens of India are his family members. So I think it is a good advice from an elderly person. I leave it to you for your reaction.
Well, it needs to be non-political. I mean, that's the main thing. Otherwise, a political statement is never going to get through, frankly. This is about our personal health. It's about global health. And the sooner we get control of this particular virus, the better, because there will be other viruses that come along. I mean, every year I get the flu jab because the flu has got a new strain. There are approximately 120-ish types of flu that come out every year, and they're all different from the previous year. And the flu jab only covers about 50%. So if you get the wrong type of flu, your flu jab won't cover you anyway. So this is a fact of life. Antibiotics is another one. The antibiotics are not having the effect that they had 20, 30 years ago because these strains are migrating. They're morphing into other things that will attack humans. And we need to be aware of it. And I think what your Prime Minister has said is a lot of common sense. Pointing fingers away at what's happening around the world is a really good example. And, you know, I'm right in the middle of the UK, so I can see what's happened. Fundamentally, this is a people transmission disease, and people need to recognize that there are a few things we can do, and we should all do them. And Prime Minister Modi has just said what they are. Personal hygiene, wash your hands frequently with soap, kill the bacteria. Observe social distance, don't be a space invader, as we would call it in the business world. Don't invade someone else's space. And equally, wear a mask. Not just for your protection, but primarily for someone else's protection. Because even though you and I are socially distanced here and we're not wearing masks, we're protected by the internet because there's a nice screen in front of us. And I can feel sometimes there's a little bit of spittle that comes out of my mouth. And because that's what happens, you know, when we open our mouth, that's what happens. We don't do it deliberately, but we're human beings. So I think the message that Prime Minister Modi has said over the last 24 hours is a lot of common sense. Now let's make it common practice. Just be respectful of other people by being respectful to yourself. It's a simple message, and I hope it works.
Absolutely, Neville. In fact, I want to add one more thing here, which is happening globally, and India is playing a major role there, is the testing of these vaccination. You know, the Russia was the first one to announce that they have a vaccination, but then it flopped. And then there was so much promise shown by the Oxford backed vaccination. Again, that is not going anywhere. I think the whole logic is to be doing testing of this vaccination on a larger pool. And India being a country which is very diversified and has the most diverse gene pool will play a major role in testing these vaccines before these are released as a cure for COVID. So I think that is another activity which is being played, and that is why the vaccine release is really delayed, because the testing is not done properly by these companies. But India, there are, I think what I heard correctly is that nearly 20 pharmaceutical companies are also working on it. They are doing testing. So eventually the vaccines, until unless they are tested on Indians, on the Indian subjects, there is no point in releasing it globally. That is another thing which I want to share.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, I mentioned the flu jab. You know, if you're only going to be protected for 50% of the potential flus that are coming through, we need the coronavirus jab to be far more protective. Otherwise, it will just give us that shield, then the expectation. So once you get a vaccine, then it will relax our behaviors elsewhere. That will be human nature. Oh, I've been vaccinated. I'm now impervious to it. Well, the reality of life is you're probably not. You may get it, but you won't get it as badly. And the only thing I would say as well, we hear a lot in the UK and in the Western world about long COVID. And this is about people that had no symptoms, had no problems previously. and yet this COVID bug has really affected them for the long term. People that, sports people that have had absolutely no problem previously are now taking an inhaler twice a day after 6 or 7 months having caught the virus. So it's here to stay. We need to work with it. Don't be frightened of going out. Do the usual things, which is basically about personal hygiene, really. So again, we'll reiterate what Prime Minister Modi said. Wash your hands with soap. Be clean, basically. Observe social distancing. Don't be a space invader of other people's space. And wear a mask. These things are going to be difficult in your upcoming celebrations. We know they are. Having been to India in the past and celebrated Diwali and the Colour Festival, which was always great, you know, with people throwing colour at each other. Absolutely fantastic. You recognise the closer you get, the better coverage you get. So you're just going to have to be a little smarter in this day and age, and be safe, because that's all we can be.
Absolutely, Neville. I think thank you for your analysis on the Prime Minister Modi's speech. I think all Indians would be quite conscious about this. They would take it in the right spirit. They will follow the guidelines, which are not very difficult, very simple, 3 guidelines to protect yourself and protect the community. So with this,
Absolutely.
I thank you for your time today, Neville. We'll catch up again tomorrow. And you have a nice and wonderful day ahead in London.
You too as well, CK. Be safe, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.